to know enough. Too old to play the part, too cool for showing up. Too dumb to say what's smart, so I'm a substitute waiting for the game to start. But I ain't trying to get played like change your heart. And may I park and find me another ride. I'm letting Florence tell you how I feel inside.
Hola, senors and senoritas. What if I did this whole video in Spanish? I probably could do it in Spanish if I knew how to speak Spanish, but I don't. So, well, it's been a minute again. I'm trying to crank out more videos, but I've been busy doing things, trying to get my real estate license, trying to get through the holiday season with all the stuff that comes with that. But I wanted to talk briefly today about something that I think every guy specifically goes through, maybe even girls, it doesn't really matter. And that is the fear of doing X, whatever it is, name it. Keeps you from getting better at something, or keeps you from doing it. So the fear of, like, I don't know, going up and talking to a girl, the fear of public speaking, the fear of whatever it is. When you fear something, you oftentimes don't do it. You just, decide, hey, the juice is not worth the squeeze type thing. But I've found throughout my life, and I don't always do this, I haven't always done this, that the more I do something that I don't want to do or I'm scared of doing, the better I get at it. Like, I used to never think, growing up, especially throughout high school and even really into college, that I could ever do public speaking. I always thought that was never in the cards for me. Like, I was just too scared of what people think, and that's the root of the problem. Is you're scared of what the other will see in you, or the fear of how you'll be perceived, or like you're going to embarrass yourself, or whatever it is. But in reality, I feel like most people are worried about themselves. So, yeah, even if you mess up for a second, like hypothetically, you're giving a speech or whatever, and you screw up, it doesn't matter. They're not going to remember it in a week. They're not going to probably remember it in a day, you know? And that was always sort of my mentality when I started doing uh, speeches at church, or speeches, having to speak at church, having to speak in front of a bunch of people. Is like, they're not going to remember what I say probably by Monday. And that's what it is a lot in life. We're mainly focused on ourselves. We're mainly focused on our own appearance. And, how often do we even think about that person who messed up, or whatever it is? How often do we allow ourselves to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. How often do we not do something because we're fearful of the perception going to be reflected back on us? And I just think that's the wrong mentality to have. I remember this is kind of like a seminally related to what I'm talking about. So I remember my senior year of basketball. That was when I felt like I did the best. And I was less concerned about, messing up, or I hope everything goes right when I go in, or this is just an example off the top of my head of, like, something that, like a switch had, flipped in my brain. Like, I went into that my senior year of high school thinking, I'm not going to care. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun, and I'm going to do the best I can. And I felt like I played better, and I feel like that's really with anything. The moment you decide, I'm not going to care, I don't care what the other person thinks, then your performance in whatever that is will usually increase, especially if you put in the work. And I feel like that's another thing that helps. If you are scared of doing something, the more you prepare yourself for whatever it is that you're going to do, the less concerned about it you'll be, because you've already, like, put in the work, and now you're just gonna do it. I feel like when I was more fearful of like playing basketball, or well, not really playing basketball, but because I always tried to, work hard for that, but like give a speech, or talk in front of a bunch of people, if I felt like I was less prepared, that's when I was more nervous, because I knew that in my subconscious that I hadn't fully prepared myself. And this comes with anything. You know, I'm talking to my son right now. Someday, if you watch this video, if you see a pretty girl and you want to go talk to her, well, you should just do it. Don't don't worry about the fear of rejection, because there's always more fish in the sea, as they say. Um, and you'll come across as more confident when you do something like that. I hope I'm around to to tell him that. Um, but yeah, the fear of not doing something is usually stemmed from a fear of the perception of the other, and that's kind of what I want to speak against. I don't know. Hope that helps. If it doesn't, I don't know. Find another way. Figure out another way. If you like this video, cool. If you didn't, well, maybe you'll like the next one.